So we're going to talk through what an average day, an average week looks like for us at the minute, and the reality of what, without sounding like a dickhead, doing this job well looks like.
Can't get my head around this. Is like they will wake up and think, what am I going to post today? And I can promise you, like, because I've been in this position myself, if you're trying to film, edit and post every single day, I put my mortgage on it, you'll stop, you'll give up.
I think I had a short period of time years ago where I did them on a Monday, and all I found that was most people checked in late because they were still in weekend mode on Sunday.
I think a lot of coaches assume that it's fairly easy.
But it's because it's sold like that though, isn't it? Put these posts on, say these words, message these people, you'll be flooded with clients. Doesn't happen.
You have to view yourself as a content creator.
Yeah.
Like we still view ourselves as content creators because we have to be. That's why we're here today, like doing this.
That's why you have OnlyFans, isn't it?
That's why I've got OnlyFans.
Content.
It's great content.
Well, it's content.
Pays the bills. Pays the bills. Like the male Bonnie Blue.
8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Back again, episode 3, back in the studio. I think we found our rhythm again, all right, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like we never left.
Do you know what we haven't said yet, though? Fish and a rice cake.
Maybe we are a bit rusty.
Yeah.
We haven't said fish and a rice cake.
Fish and a rice cake.
This is fish and a rice cake.
I wonder if... Do we need to change the name of that?
Nah, it's a good name.
Nah, it's a good name, isn't it?
Nah, until fish and a rice cake guy comes with us with lawyers.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the lawsuit. Because
we'll give it to them.
We're clearly famous with it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know?
But to be fair, like sometimes when we've been down to like the business events and stuff where there is all the other coaches, like people do come up being like, fish and a rice cake.
Yeah, fish and a rice cake. Yeah. And when we did our photo shoot, do you remember when the chef brought us some of the actual rice cakes that Fish and Rice Cake guy does?
Yeah, he did. And
I don't think I ever ate them, actually.
I don't think I actually ever tried them, though. They were in the cupboard for too long, and then I was like...
Yeah, because you just can't beat your Snacker Jacks, can you? Like,
yeah, well, exactly.
This is the thing, it's like, you know...
And I'll say that till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
Until they give me a sponsorship, the salt and vinegar.
We're going to get the sponsorship one day.
Yeah,
it's going to come.
So, I'm Jake. He's Jake. 2 online coaches back chatting about how we get our clients in shape and how we've built our business over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So
ranting and just all that.
Usually ranting. Yeah. Usually complaining. In fact, Sophie literally said to me yesterday, she said, you know, you're a lot more of a negative person than when we first got together. Yeah.
That's what coaching does to you.
That's what, yeah. I was like, I'm cynical nowadays, I think.
Yeah.
I think as you get older, you just get more cynical.
I think it is that, innit?
Yeah,
you just get you coming into the industry, coming into your ears. You come into the industry and you.
That's going to be the new intro. Fish and a rice cake coming in your ears.
But you come into the industry and you're like you know, sparkly eyed, young, and you're like just ready to change the world, and then you realise that it can't be changed.
Yeah,
and everyone's fucked. No, I'm joking.
And fitness isn't that important.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. We love our jobs, obviously, but it comes with its challenges, doesn't it?
Yeah, like any job, doesn't it? Everyone's got bits and parts of the job.
I think is what we're going to talk about, funnily
enough. So what we are going to chat about today is what our normal week looks like. Because again, like we speak to a lot of coaches, we work with a lot of coaches, and even just like normal people, we're all normal people, aren't we?
But this applies to like physique and everything else, because again, it comes down to that like, well, you know, must be easy for you because you're a coach kind of thing.
I think it's that. I think people assume it's an easy job. And look, I'm not saying it's the hardest job in the world. Like you see...
of course, we're not heart surgeons, are we here?
Exactly.
Better than that.
Yeah, better than that. Yeah. Won't get out of bed for that. But even just like things like, I don't think even my own family to a large degree really understand what the job entails.
My mum has no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
So I have been thinking at some point I'm going to do like a YouTube vlog, which is like a week in life.
It's a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, do you earn any money, Jake? I'm like, yes. Yes. How do you think I pay my mortgage? Like,
literally. So we're going to talk through what an average day, an average week looks like for us at the minute, and the reality of what I would say, without sounding like a dickhead, doing this job well looks like.
Yeah.
Or doing this job seriously. I think taking it seriously is an actual job.
Yeah.
And not just something you'd like to get into.
Yeah, again, because I think a lot of coaches, we sound like we're having to go at coaches a lot today, but we're not. We're saying it with like good intentions. I think a lot of coaches assume that it's fairly easy, right? And there's not, you don't have to.
It's because it's sold like that though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that will just advertise put these posts on, say these words, message these people, you'll be flooded with clients. doesn't happen.
Yeah, the frameworks.
The frameworks, the blueprints and all
what
that shit
about?
doesn't happen. Or it does happen and it lasts for about 2 months when everyone who does sign up leaves because they don't know you, they don't know what you do, they don't enjoy it, and then everyone who's been through that ends up turning around and being like, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So, we've ranted about balance and everything like that, but I think the first thing, like, you have to have structure. Like, the first thing that we have to have, especially at the minute, obviously you've got 2 kids. I've just got the one, but it's still hard work, innit? And Sophie does most of it.
My diary up, actually.
And but you've got to have structure. You've got to know day to day what you do. And I think that's the difference between if it's something that you want to get into, regardless of whether you're flooded with clients or not, you can't treat it as something that you want to get into. You have to treat it as, okay, I want this to be my job, so I'm going to treat it like a job.
Treat it like a job. And like this is where like I've got to be careful here that we're not just saying like grind harder culture, because we don't want it to come across that way at all. Like,
No.
You know, one of the reasons that we do this job is because of actually the flexibility it does bring as well. Like, you can effectively work from anywhere. You can like,
And like we're here in the middle of a
like
is it
it's
like lunchtime on a Friday?
lunchtime on a Friday. We've been some nice breakfast this morning. Obviously working as well, but like, so it has a lot of benefits, right? But it
It's
also
going to get awkward when I get low on this because it's going to start making that.
so you're back on your caffeine now, by the way.
No, it's decaf. Yours is decaf as well.
Better not be. I'm fuming. I need my
No, I'm
caffeine.
still on decaf.
Are you actually?
Well, I had a can of Monster on the way here. I'm on.
Hang on.
I'm on. Right.
I saw you sipping a can of Monster on the coaching clinic yesterday.
Yeah, I had one on the way here as well. I cut caffeine out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just
How did
as
you
a
feel
bit.
at the end of it?
All right. I cut it out
As in, like, did you feel noticeably better?
on a morning. Yeah. On a morning when I woke up, I felt a lot better. Like I wasn't
lot
feeling like I've been
less
hit by a bus.
groggy and-
Yeah, I felt fine. Like to the point now where when I get up in the morning, I don't feel like I won't have anything like early on a morning, unless it's really hot and I fancy a cold can of Monster. I think that's why I've been having them more this last week, is because it's so hot. When it's cold, it's quite nice, and I've not been really drinking coffee.
Yeah.
So what I did do was cut it out for 2 weeks just as a bit of a reset, because I got to the point where I was having a bit too much of it, a bit too much for me anyway, and I was waking up just feeling groggy and like headachy and just fucked. And anxious as well, actually. So I feel really anxious all the time on an evening. So I was like, caffeine's probably not helping that. So I thought I'll cut that down a bit. Just as a bit of general insight there. And then cut it out for 2 weeks as a bit of a reset. And then I've just reintroduced essentially maximum like 1 caffeine-based thing a day if I want it.
Okay.
And it's that. The thing is though, with the Monster, like if they had a caffeine-free version, I would have that, but they don't. And I like the white Monster. So,
I
sue
think
me.
it's one of them. Well, like,
But that is decaf.
Mine's not, is it?
No, but mine is.
Okay, good. But so I will have like 3 bits of caffeine, 3 servings of caffeine, but I'll always have my last one before 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I generally, because I don't have a problem sleeping, and I don't wake up tired either. Like I wake up before my alarm goes off, kind of like ready to go for the day.
Ready to start the morning routine of a CEO.
Yeah, fucking CEO of my bedroom. But no, yeah, like literally, like I'm not like just hopping out of bed like ready to, Ashton Hall or whatever his name is, like going to sprint down a road with a camera. But like I'm awake and I'm like, okay, I can go to the gym now. I can do what I fucking need to do. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's where my caffeine, like, it started ramping up with me was just when we were up most of the night with Lilo, and like I would be staying up till like 11:30, 12 most nights to finish my work off.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, well, if I have some caffeine at 4 p.m, what's the difference? Because I'm going to be up till midnight anyway. Then I'm probably going to be waking up a few times through the night before I get up at fucking 4 or 5 a.m. regardless.
Yeah.
So now that that's settled down and we are in like a nice routine,
you can start to.
That's why I was like, right, I need to tidy this up now. Anyway,
we digress.
have we started the episode? What were we talking about?
Can't remember now.
An average week.
An average week.
Let's start on a Monday. So, Monday, because we pretty much have the same week.
Yeah.
Mondays, we don't do check-ins unless we have a blitz running, which we will. But
unless you've got
we don't have
blitz.
one
So
running.
blitz is our group coaching, which is twice a year. Generally speaking, might be changing that, but twice a year. 12, 13 weeks of check-ins. On average, we have like 15 to 20 each.
Yeah. About 2 to 3 hours of check-ins.
About 2 to 3 hours worth of check-ins.
But
not right now.
Yeah, not right now. So a normal Monday for us is essentially a day to do a bit of admin work. We have some calls together. We chat with Dan and Mike. We plan the week out. Do a bit of content. We might have a couple of setups to do. There's not much more beyond that. Like Mondays is
Monday for me
a
is
bit
like
of an easier admin day to get ready for the week.
Yeah, I like Mondays. Eases me in.
Yeah.
It's like get on top of things. Reply to people who maybe I've not spoken to over the weekend.
Yeah.
Again, admin-y bits. Like fucking at the end of the day, like you know, when you're a business owner, you've got tax and shit. So like anything like that, do you know, I'll do on a Monday. I'll get all that boring bits out, all the boring stuff out of the way, and potentially do a bit of content. So I write an email, generally speaking, on a Monday.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got the headspace for that. It's fine. I might film a few reels as well.
I'll try and do a vlog on a Monday if I'm going to.
Yeah, if I'm going to do like a vlog or something.
But I still get up at like 5. Not to be like, oh, I get up at 5, but I'll still get up early to try and get on and get everything done as quick as I can, so that then I've got a good chunk of the day to spend with Sophie if she's not got work to do, or spend with Lilo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, so even though there's less for us to do on a Monday, there's still probably, like, even on a quiet Monday, there's still probably a good like 5-6 hours of work to do.
Quite easily, yeah.
It's just a bit more in
a bit more relaxed. Yeah, a bit more relaxed, and it is. I think that's a good way to start the week. And I think a lot of coaches, chatting to a guy yesterday actually, and he gets his clients to check in over the weekend.
Yeah.
And then he does their feedback on a Monday. And we just had a conversation about it. I just asked him bluntly. I was like, because I know he's got a coach, and I know his coach, and his coach is very good. I said, if he asked you to check in on a Sunday, would you do it? He's like, no, I thought that. With the kids, I'm out having a pint, or I'm spending time with a family. I'm like, do you see where there might be an issue here for your client?
Well, this is the thing. This is why, you know, because I think I had a short period of time years ago where I did them on a Monday. And all I found that was most people checked in late because they were still in weekend mode on Sunday. Or if they did do it, they'd do it Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then there's half of the weekend there that hasn't happened yet. And the weekend's obviously mainly where things go wrong.
Yeah.
So then their check-in's only painting half a picture. So I'd either spend half of my Monday waiting for late check-ins or having to find time later in the week to do it. Or I would do their feedback and then they'd message to be like, oh, just so you know, after I filmed that, this happened on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back in and redo things.
And also, I think if you do it on the weekend, what you often get is just people reflecting on the weekend alone and nothing else. Whereas actually, nowadays, we get them to like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, whatever, Mondays, Tuesdays. And what you find is people reflect on the entire week a bit better rather than just the weekend.
And I think when you do it on a Monday, it feeds into that sort of new, fresh, you know, new Monday, new me type thing, where it's like, right, it's Monday, I'm going to smash it again. But then by the time the next weekend comes around, their feedback was 5 days ago. They've forgotten what you've spoken about.
Yeah, like I'll start clients on like a Friday and they're like, it feels weird. I'm like, well, yeah, I almost say to people like, this is because we want you to come away from this like start on a Monday approach.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I get the cliche and it can work, of course it can, but you want people to get out of that fresh Monday, fresh like, fucking new me every single week. So anyway, Monday's reasonably chill day.
Make sure we post once or twice. We'll probably have average 20-30 conversations a day.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I might have one. I've got a couple of calls this Monday, just like sales calls.
Bits
like,
and bobs
you know,
that.
Again, like it's a day where I can fit that stuff in.
Yeah.
Because I don't have huge amounts else going on.
That's a Monday. Tuesday then is checking day.
This is where it goes tits up.
Tuesday is checking day number 1 for us. And it is literally get up at 5, 6, whatever, sit at the desk, and then that is it till sometimes it can be like 5, 6 p.m.
Yeah, so the way I've been trying to do it, so obviously we'll talk about training a bit and where we fit our training and stuff around this as well. So recently, because I saw you were doing it, I thought I'll give that a go because I'm up at that time anyway. And usually I would train first thing, so I'll train like 5:30, done, and then I'll work. Whereas actually what I've been doing now is I've been starting my check-ins because I quite like doing check-ins while other people are in bed.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I do.
Not like I'm thinking about them in bed or anything. I just like...
I think you feel like you're getting ahead a little bit.
Getting ahead, yeah.
The only difficult I've got at the minute is the office, not the spare bedroom, the office, is literally next to our normal bedroom. Yeah. And I don't want to...
Wake everyone up.
I've stopped doing check-ins at that time now because I don't want to risk waking Lilo up before she's due to actually get up. So I'll still get up and sit at my desk at that time, but I basically do all my other admin jobs for the day. So I'll write out my caption for a post. I'll reply to messages. I have to send emails. If I have to write an email, like all that kind of stuff. I'll get all that done so that then once she's up, I can be like, right now, it's just check-ins and just get on with it.
Yeah.
And for now that works, but as soon as it can change, I will go back to just starting check-ins as soon as I get up.
Yeah. So I do check-ins from... Usually, I aim to get my first one started at 6 a.m. So 6 a.m, do that until about 8. And then Thea has nursery, so I'll drop Thea at nursery. And then I'll go to the gym then. And I feel like that's quite, I don't know, it just works really well because I've already got like 10, 12 check-ins done, so I've got a good chunk of them done. Yeah. Go to the gym, have a bit of a session, come back. And then I'll just be sat at my desk then from like 10 till 5, 6.
Yeah. So mine's very similar. Mine's start at 5-ish, do all my admin jobs. Lilo gets up at 6:30. So I'll usually get her up, and then obviously Soph will be there
Spend a bit of
as
time
well,
with her,
feed
yeah.
her, that kind of stuff. And then I'll have Lilo till normally about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So Sophie has some time to get herself sorted. She goes to the gym, trains, whatever. So I'll usually use that time to go walk the dog, take Lilo with me, stuff like that. And then I get back at about 9ish to actually sit down, and then it's just check-ins from 9 until I get them done, which again is normally sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 6.
Yeah.
Like, it just varies.
Yeah, and again, that's like, so we'll on average 30ish. Like, sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could be less. It depends on who's on holiday, who's away. I think officially I have like 35 to do, but it never works out that way because people are away and stuff like that. So 30-ish check-ins. And again, you speak to a lot of coaches, they go, 30 check-ins in a day, like I couldn't do that. And I'm like, no, you can. Like, you really can. And actually, you'd be better off doing that because then it frees up a hell of a lot of time elsewhere.
Yeah, and then Wednesdays, exact same. Rinse and repeat. It's literally Groundhog Day. It's the same day.
Literally the same.
So there's no need to go over anything else. Thursday is pretty much the same day, but instead of like video check-ins with our physique clients, we have one-to-one calls with our like coaching
business clients,
business style clients, and they are literally, and we do our coaching clinic on a Thursday. So 10 o'clock every Thursday, we give an hour's talk to all these coaches in the members group. There's normally, I think at the minute we've been getting like, I mean, there's like 300 people in the group, but there's normally maybe 20,
it's been a bit more, like 30ish live. Or them usually get about 300 on the playback, on the watchback.
Yeah. And we'll just chat about various different aspects of coaching or whatever.
Yeah, so with like this week we did a case study on how to get someone into shoot condition. Like we do all sorts.
But so we have that. Thursdays are pretty much the same day.
If you're a coach, 10 a.m. Thursdays.
Yeah. Back-to-back calls. Basically, we're just chatting to people all day. And again, that can go till 6:30, 7 p.m. sometimes. With the same routine, I break off for a couple of hours in the morning. I start my calls from about 9 a.m. and then it just runs through until they're done. And then if I get a chance, like yesterday, if I get any gaps, I will do training plan updates, or I'll do late check-ins from 2 days prior or things like that.
Yep, very, very similar. So like yesterday, again, first call at 8:30, last call at 4:30.
Yeah.
I had an hour lunch in the middle of the day, that was it.
Yeah.
Rest of the time, like glued to my desk. And again, this is why, something we've spoken about this just before we came on air, coming into your ears, was like having a backload of content ready to go, because something that I just can't get my head around with coaches is day to day not knowing what they're going to post and not having an idea of what's going out. So on a Monday, one of my admin tasks is to plan my content for the week and make sure it's all ready to go. I might not have the captions written, and again, like once you know your niche a bit more, like you can just kind of throw something up because you know what to say a bit more. But I'll know what's going out every single day.
Yeah.
And like most coaches, I can't get my head around this, is like they will wake up and think, what am I going to post today? I need to film it, edit it, and post it. And I can promise you, like, because I've been in this position myself, if you're trying to film, edit, and post every single day, I put my mortgage on it, you'll stop. You'll give up. Because it's overwhelming, it's stressful.
It's knackering. Yeah, because you get to the end of the day and you're like, shit, I've still got to think,
not done anything.
Film it, edit it, that's another 2 hours, or an hour.
And then what happens is the post ends up being shit.
Yeah,
it's obvious. Like, you go on someone's page. I said to one of my guys yesterday, I had to be brutal. I was like, I can tell that every single post you put up this week has been a throwaway post because you've not had time and you've just not thought about it. It's
usually like, some 10-second B-roll of them training or eating or something, and then it's got like the text that pops
reading the caption, more in the caption. I'm like, I've never put anything up like that because it's just shite.
So
there. Anyway, so that's my little run over.
Fridays, then again, get up at the same time, and it's literally Fridays are my day for the majority training plan updates, late check-ins. If I don't get time on the Thursday, I will then plan a lot of content to film. I will also then plan my content for the weekend, so I'll pre-write and script all my content that I'm going to post over the week. I'll actually do it for Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, knowing that they're like busy days, so that I'm good for like 4 or 5 days. And then it's just like filming, sending it to Jacob, or vlogging, editing it, bits and bobs like that. And again, that's still like start at 5, break off for a couple of bits here and there. It's a bit of like a Monday again. It's a
content.
bit of
I have Fridays like in my diary. It says like content day. If I've got the opportunity, I'll have like a morning off, something to go and spend some time with like Thea or Brody and spend some time with the family on a Friday if I can. But if not, if I'm behind on stuff, like I say, the first thing is it will be late check-ins, it will be training programs. That's a good few hours in itself. Today we're here, so like we're in here for 2 hours, but obviously there's getting here, there's having a chat about all the things we've got going on before and after. So it's quite long days. And then at the weekend, I'll try my best to be done for the weekend, but quite often I've still got a couple of training programs to do. maybe 1 or 2 still like kind of late check-ins to do that kind of thing.
And I'll, on the Friday, message all my Tuesday check-ins to touch base with them, see how the week's been going, if there's any particular things they've had coming up, asking how it was or how they're feeling. Same on the Saturday, I'll message all my Wednesday check-ins to touch base with them, see how the week's been going. And then, like I said, then there might be some leftover content I need to film or edit or bits and bobs like that. So again, it's kind of like we've got...
And then on top of that, just to finish off there, like, I think people think then just because you're not doing these tasks, you're then not working. And this is the reality, right? Especially when you're not like an influencer and you've got like hundreds of thousands of followers, one of the things that we speak to people about is you've got to like develop genuine relationships with people online and have conversations with people. So outside of everything we've just said, when I'm chilling on the sofa in the evening, which doesn't rarely happen, it's rare now, but when I do, watching The Last of Us.
You've watched The Last of Us?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You never told me you started watching that.
That guy's pretty good at it.
Yeah, Pedro is everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is when I'll then go and have conversations with people.
Yeah.
I'll react to people's stories. They'll react to mine. People who engage in my stories have a bit of a back and forth.
Yeah.
And again, so I think this is the extracurricular stuff that just coaches aren't willing to do.
Well, that's it. Like, we have conversations sometimes, and it's like, how many conversations you've had? And it's like, I've not had many. It's just I don't like being on my phone on an evening. And like, I get that. Like, I do get that. I don't like being on my phone on an evening. Sophie definitely doesn't like me being on my phone on an evening. And I'll get to the end of a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday where we've literally been doing check-ins, talking all day, and I sit down on Instagram and there might be 17 to 20 messages that I need to reply to.
Yeah.
And I'm sat there and like, don't get me wrong, I want to speak to those people and it is just casual conversations, but it is still, I've got 17 messages I need to catch up on. And then we've got our personal WhatsApp with clients, and there's always, I'll get probably between 30 and 50 messages a day on there from everybody that needs replying to as you can. Like, it is, I'm not saying it's a hard job, because there's definitely harder jobs out there, but it's a lot of work still. Like, it takes a lot of time. There isn't really a period of time where it's like last night, for example, I was doing check-ins at 10:30.
What's my phone?
Unprofessional. That should be switched off. What?
Aeroplane mode.
I was doing a feedback at 10:30 last night because literally I was like, I won't have time today. It was a late check-in, so I couldn't do it earlier in the day because they hadn't sent it across. So I was like, I'm going to have to do it now. So it's 10:30.
And again, like, I do want to be like really clear, like, you don't have to do things the way we do things, like.
But you need a structure.
You need to be organised. You need to be willing to actually put some work in as well. And I just think again, we say it a lot. We'll say it a lot more as well. Like, there just seems to be a false expectation of what's actually required.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this question then, because I think this would be quite interesting for a lot of people listening to this. If you were a coach who didn't have as many check-ins to do as us, so let's say you had 15 clients, 20 clients, so still probably your full-time job, like, give or take.
Yeah. But that's about 5 hours work.
Yeah, and you're looking to build your business.
Yeah.
What would you then, like, very quickly, what would your week look like?
Like content, like all the time. It would literally be.
I'm so happy you said that.
But it would, because you'd have, let's say, 5 hours of check-ins to do in the week.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd have messages outside of that, training updates. But again,
what I would do is I would do all my client work in one day. So
100%.
all check-ins, all training programs,
everything.
everything that I need to from a client fulfillment perspective will be done in one day.
I'd do it in one day, and then I'd literally have the rest of the week to plan, script, write, film, edit content. I would be doing video content. I would be doing YouTube vlogs, podcasts, as much as I could possibly do.
Yeah.
And I'd try and edit as much of it as I possibly could. Like, we've only relatively recently got someone to edit all of our content because we now literally don't have the time to do it. Or if we did, we wouldn't see our kids and probably wouldn't have a relationship. But I used to literally until within the last year, I used to edit every single piece of content. Yeah. Like, I mean, still edit these. These don't take as much, to be fair, because it's just stitching it together. But the reels and the YouTube, I still edit my own YouTube stuff, to be fair.
Yep.
I don't edit my Instagram stuff, but I did until recently, and that was still like hours of work of editing. But I think it's important that you actually get good at editing.
Yeah, you've got to learn it as a skill, because once you've got, I say that to everyone, like, once you've got the skill, like, even if you get really busy and, like, for example, like, because you do then use an editor or whatever, like, that's cool. But if I lost half my clients tomorrow, I just go back to editing myself.
Yeah.
No
well,
problem
I had a call yesterday with a coaching client, and he uses an editor, but he was like, I've got a bit of spare time at the minute. What do you suggest I do? So I was like, more content. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, do you think I should be editing some of it myself and, like, learning how to do that? And I was like, yeah. Because if you don't, like, look at everybody.
You also find your style. So you find how
Exactly.
you want to edit, how you want your content to look, how you want to get your message across. So that then if you ever do go and use an editor,
Yeah,
they
you
can
can
just go,
send it.
cool, that's how he likes it. Sweet, I'll just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that, I'll plug and play that, and we'll make it suit your
But
style.
that was literally that. I was like, you need that as a skill because you don't want the bottleneck to your business always to be, oh, if I ever need to do some marketing, I need to wait until my editor has time to do
Yeah.
it, send it to me, and I can post.
Drives
it.
me
Like,
fucking mad.
and you don't need to be able to do anything fancy. You don't need to be a professional editor.
No,
you
not
just
at all.
need to know the basics
Yeah.
to put something together.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And that's it, right? Again, like in the early days, when you don't have loads of clients, when you are building things up, and this is especially if you wanted to be an online coach, it's very different in person. But we speak to online coaches. You have to view yourself as a content creator.
Yeah.
Like we still view ourselves as content creators because we have to be. That's why we're here today, like doing this. But
that's why you have OnlyFans, isn't it?
That's why I've got OnlyFans.
Content.
It's great content.
Well, it's content.
Pays the bills. Pays the bills. Like the male Bonnie Blue. But yeah, so no, you've got to be willing to put your time into content, and don't get me wrong, like that balance changes. Do you know? Like right now, we do more coaching than we do content, but in the early days, it was way more content.
Yeah.
And like you speak to the people with the biggest Instagrams, and like, do you know who I love? What's his name?
Sam Seaforth.
Yes.
Sam Colforth.
Sam Cornforth. Fucking hilarious, right?
Yeah, very good.
I listened to a podcast, and he said one of those reels, which are like 60 seconds long, will take him 2 weeks
Yeah.
of filming, production, editing, breaking it all down, adding effects, all this kind of stuff. And coach is like, I want to make content like him. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it takes? You're not willing to put more than half an hour a day into your content.
Yeah.
Do you know that's the difference? Steve Kraft.
Yeah,
Like,
Steve's is
I know I think he puts like 15 hours a week into his content. Maybe not anymore because he was more coaching,
Yeah.
but I know in the early days it was like 15 to 20 hours a week into his content alone.
Yeah.
Scripting, editing, filming. And again, like coaches just aren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
And then they're wondering why they don't have the clients that those people do.
Yeah. So
So there you go.
what we were talking about, an average week again. This has been a long episode.
That's been a long
And
episode.
we've not talked much about what we're actually planning on talking about, I feel like. Oh, we've covered it though, haven't we? Yeah, we've covered it.
That's an average week, isn't it?
That's an average week.
That's an average week.
Yeah. Of 2 average coaches.
That's 2 average coaches. Great coaches.
Right, we'll leave it there.
Stop coming through your ears now.
Coming in your ears.
Coming in your ears.
Yeah. If it was through, there'd have to be nothing in the middle to go in one and out. Never mind. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Bye-bye.